Al, they stole my blood, so I think we should take it easy this week.
It's true.
That's all I got to say about that. So, hello.
Hi.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc, Al, and Ladium.
Hello.
This is episode number 235. We're going to talk about some games we played recently.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly you played these. I kind of watched like 66% of them.
Yeah. But that's fine. You participated.
I was a participant.
Much like how I participated in the Yakuza playthroughs, you participated in these playthroughs.
It's true.
But what about when we played together?
Yeah, that is also true. So we got 3 games to throw at you on the docket today.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 Final Fantasies. It's crazy. They
Yes.
made 2 Final Fantasies.
What?
And also we got a cooperative game
Yup.
that we played through. So yeah, let's talk about some games here. First off, we played through a game called Operation Tango. It is a PS Plus game for the PlayStation 5 at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening to this at the time of recording. Apparently this game came out last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Whoops.
I did not know that. But this is a co-op only game.
Mm-hmm.
Where you and a friend work together to be cool hackers. Hacker voice, I'm in.
Oh,
And
one's a hacker and
spies.
one's like a secret agent.
Yes. Which is cool.
Yeah.
With that, because like you're both playing different characters, you have different things happening on each individual screen.
Mm-hmm.
So like when Al was doing stuff, I was seeing something completely different.
Yep.
And
But we
vice
had to
versa.
communicate with each other.
Yeah, this is basically kind of like a mixture of stuff like Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, Space Team for mobile devices, where it's a lot of, you have your own individual thing you have to look at and relay information to another player, and they have to do that back to you, and doing so, you work together to complete various missions and objectives.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
It's very fun.
The one cool thing about this game, well, there's multiple cool things about this game, but one of the cool things about this game is it does like the friend pass doohickey that some of the EA co-op games we played recently did, where
Mm-hmm.
one person can buy the game and then you can have like a friend download the demo, quote unquote, and basically play it like that.
Yep.
And you get the full experience even if you have the demo. Like the only thing you're missing out on is like getting trophies, which, it's what it is.
Yeah.
But it definitely allows you to kind of branch out and let other people play that might not be able to get it for whatever reason.
Well, and also play it if you're not used to playing co-op games. Like you're the only one I play co-op games with.
Yeah.
So like if you're somebody who tends to play solo games and want to play this, like you would need a pass. Be like, hey, buddy, play this game with me.
Here you go. I believe it is also crossplay with PS4 and PS5. I don't know if it's crossplay with PC or not, but again, opening up the floodgates for people to play the game.
Yep.
There's like 5 levels
That sounds right. 5 or
to
6.
this. Each level basically has a lot of like variation to it. There's not a whole lot of like repeated aspects to it. There's like some kind of like general features or like kind of gameplay that is a little bit repeated just because like but they basically expand upon it each time you kind of come back to it. But there's a lot of like weird and interesting ideas that they kind of do throughout this where I'll have to like kind of lead you through various like rooms and stuff, but like you are able to see like all the rooms and stuff because like you are going in first person and everything, whereas
Yep.
I have like this top down map that has like, oh, here's where the enemy patterns are, but I don't see you.
Right.
So I have to basically know like, okay, we have to time this for when you go, and then I have to make sure you know the route to get through things
Yep.
in order to not get caught and all that sort of stuff. And there's also like, okay, well, you have to go find various like little like gizmos and doodads or whatever, and I have to be the one like in the background hacking them and making sure like you're able to get the information you need, all that sort of stuff.
Gotta work together to do locks.
Mm-hmm.
Or
There's a lot.
undo locks, I guess.
Yeah, there's various mechanics where you basically both work together in order to like get through things. Where like one of them's like, oh, you have to like get through this lock decryption thing, and like, okay, one of you can move these little sliders to the left and right, the other one moves them up and down. You have to work together to,
Make it happen.
make it happen. I thought there was some like real interesting levels where like the train level I thought was interesting, where like you had to go around and like find specific people, and like you could do that by like seeing like, oh, what their interests are and stuff like that, while
What their
like
apps are, yeah.
so like you're on the train moving through people, and I'm like, I have an overhead view of the entire train. I can let you through into different cars and everything, and like I have to like find which person that you need to go hack and all this sort of stuff. And then that led to like the very hectic part where we had to stop the train, and we had to like work together to do, I guess, like stop the engine of the train because it was like going at max speed and everything. So like
Yep.
you had like all these different like components you had to go to, and like we had to relay information between each other and all that sort of stuff. Very hectic, very tense, but it was a whole lot of fun.
Very, very hectic.
Mm-hmm.
Very hectic. And it was great when it would like get down to like no time at all, and then we'd solve it, and it's like, oh, you have some more time again. I'm like, whoo, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. The only one that I didn't really care for, in terms of level design was the one that, like you had to do the deep dive into the server.
Mm-hmm.
That one was odd, and I still haven't figured out how some of the puzzles work really.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise it was great. Like you were a hacker who was like this guy with a twisty mustache who looks like belongs at a hipster festival, and I was like this cool lady with a big fro.
Mm-hmm.
And we were team working that together. Oh, and you became a Roomba at one point.
I did become a Roomba at one point, and I ran over someone and I blew the mission.
You broke their leg and ruined the mission for it.
Yep. It's the most dangerous Roomba.
I mean, honestly, if you were to hack a Roomba, I'd probably be scared of you.
I mean, that's fair. That is very fair.
You're just chaotic enough that you wouldn't know what to expect with the Roomba.
Oh, that'd be a fun time.
Yep.
The final level basically ends up being keep talking and no one explodes.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very funny, but also it was really good because like it's very tense because like it's the last thing you have to do, and you're just like, all right, we gotta work together. Okay, tell me about these modules. What do you gotta do here?
What's the serial number?
What's the serial number? And
what
like
colors you got?
it's interesting as well because like it gives you a bunch of like stuff at the very beginning, so you have to like work together, be like, okay, what is this information can we parse out right now, and like so we can like cross some of this stuff off before we can actually like dive into actually getting into like the
explodey bits.
The explodey bits. Yes, thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for.
The detonator is what you were actually looking for. I'm
yes.
pretty sure.
So like it's very overwhelming at first, but like you're able to like okay, what do you have? Do you have this thing? Do you have this thing? Can we work with this thing? And then it's like, okay, we got this. Let's work down. Okay, we crossed this off. Okay, now we can move over to this thing. We got this, and then yada yada yada. You move down and down until you eventually disarm it. It was really fun.
It was really fun. Although I did get flashbacks to Thank You, I'm Die Forever.
Yes.
Because at one point you're like, all right, you gotta wait until it says 5 and then press the button. And I'm just like,
It's very good.
Which is I'm Die, Thank You Forever.
Mm-hmm. As you normally do.
But we did not die. We in fact survived, saved the world, arrested the baddie.
We did the thing.
We did the thing, and We found the game studio on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Got a trophy for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a pretty fun and clever game. I'm glad we played it.
Mm-hmm. It's not super long or anything. Like you said, it's like 5 missions. Like the
Yeah.
length is really going to come from like you being able to kind of wrap your mind around all these puzzles and everything.
Well,
But
and you can also play it as the other character and get a completely different experience,
yeah, that's true as
which
well.
we have not done, but we could do it. You could be the agent and I could be the hacker.
It's true. Uh,
Wow.
but I would say like if you want like a good little cooperative game that I think is going to like, it's not necessarily going to make you and your friend like just yell at each other the whole time. I mean, you will yell
Yeah.
at each other, but like you like angrily yell at each other. Like this is a good fun time,
It was fun.
and you will
I
have an
enjoyed our time with it
enjoyable
very much.
yeah, you'll have an enjoyable little playthrough there.
And like the aesthetics of it were nice. It had lots of bright colors and
Mm-hmm.
like the characters were well designed. The person who was giving you directions kind of looked like a generic chatbot lady. But otherwise the characters look nice.
Yeah, I would agree.
It was fun.
It was fun.
I don't know why it's called Operation Tango, but
Sometimes you just
may-
got to do the tango.
maybe that was just the name of the operation and we missed it.
It's entirely
take down-
possible.
Take down the guy.
And then we did a little tango.
Woo!
All right, moving on.
Okay.
Al, you played a demo.
I did play a demo.
A demo
You
you had to
watched a
wait
demo.
for like 24 hours to play. Actually, way more than 24 hours, like 36
Way
hours to play.
more Yo, that entire demo situation was just such a hot mess. Chaos.
Chaos indeed. The
Chaos ate the demo.
perhaps one of the most infamous games that showed up at E3
Yep.
last weekend.
Yep.
Was the Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. The trailer that everyone was just like, ooh, this looks so bad.
And the two of us were just like, this is awesome. Listen to that dialogue.
This looks real dumb. I'm all for this.
Yep.
So yeah, the demo was supposed to come out the day that they did the Square Enix thing, and then they're like, "Oh, we put this out, and it is corrupted. Whoops!" So I believe it took them till like Tuesday morning to
Yeah.
put out a patch that fixed it, and then the game's playable. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So I downloaded it the day that it was announced
Mhm.
and got to the screen and was like, yeah, I saw beforehand that it was corrupted. I was like, maybe I'll have better luck. Nope.
No one had good luck.
It was really heckin' corrupted. And I made the dumb decision of deleting it entirely because I thought that I would have to re-download it.
Which I guess that's fair. That's a fair
Um,
assumption.
So then I had to download it once again once they patched it. But man, what a way to release a demo.
That is true.
It does have some crazy music on the PS5 menu when you're like hovering over the demo. It is intense. And it's just got Jack's face.
Good old Jack.
Jack Final Fantasy.
Good old Jack Final Fantasy.
Yeah, so
I believe before we get into this and the gameplay at least, we got to talk about some development history.
okay.
Because
Yes, hit
some
me.
stuff has come out since then where some people have talked about this game. Some people who
Oh,
are making
boy.
this game have talked about this game.
Oh boy.
So of course this is the Square Enix Team Ninja collaboration where they are making a game set around the universe of Final Fantasy 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the gist of that people knew about it. So it's being directed by some dude from Square Enix and some dudes from Team Ninja. The story scenario is being written by Kazushige Nojima, who of course, very famous Square Enix Final Fantasy scenario writer.
Yep.
And then of course, our friend and yours, Tetsuya Nomura, character designer, creative producer, and also was made the original concept for this game, which he described as He came up with the idea after he finished production on Dissidia, and he was like, let's make an action focused game. That's cool. And then he's like, what if we combine this concept, but I want a protagonist that is older and is an angry young man. So Nomura comes up with this and is like, maybe we can't put Final Fantasy in this, but everyone else is like, let's just make this Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to make a more mature version of Final Fantasy 1. Because that's what you do, I guess.
Sure.
Nojima said about the scenario, it's not a hope or a dream. It's like a hunger, a thirst.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, this is, yeah. Everything you hear about the way they talk about this game just makes it seem so dumb.
Yep.
And just very weird. So, yeah, like the original trailer didn't help.
Nope.
The Nomura interview didn't help.
Nope.
And then the demo finally came out. So everyone was ready to just like dunk on this game.
Yep.
As soon as the demo came out. And then once it came out, everyone was kind of like, this demo's not bad.
Yeah.
This demo's kind of all right.
Yeah.
So you got your hands on it, obviously, and then I watched you play through it. We did it in 2 days because that's just how things go sometimes.
Yeah.
Considering this is made by the same team who did Neo, which is a Dark Souls adjacent game, it is very much one of those kinds of games, but not as like over the top ridiculous difficulty as those, because this has difficulty options.
Yes. I was so happy I had difficulty options because otherwise I would have been screwed.
Which is very wild. And B, it almost kind of plays more in line with like a character action game with Souls like elements to it.
Yeah.
Because like there isn't like a concept of souls as a currency in this, where like if you lose or if you die, you lose like your souls or anything like that. It's kind of just like you have levels and you level up. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
You do have like bonfire equivalents throughout there, which obviously they do the thing where like they respawn enemies. They allows you to regain your health and your health items and all that sort of stuff. Lets you have like a safe haven to level up and do all that sort of stuff. But other than that, it's basically kind of one of those games, but not necessarily as just brutally difficult. I don't know how it is on like the higher difficulties. Like it might kind of be that same. It might be what you would want from those kinds of games. But from what we play, like it seemed all right.
Yeah, I mean, I won't even lie. I put it on easy mode because I don't play those types of games, and I don't play those types of games for a very good reason. And so I was a little worried going into this. I was like, oh God, this is gonna be rough. This is gonna be rough. But then I was pleasantly surprised when I was like, hey, do you want to play on easy? I'm like, yeah, I do. Thank you. Which, I mean, you mentioned it when we had the difficulty options, like kind of throws a wrench in the whole like get good chuds argument that you can't have one of these games with difficulty options.
Yeah.
So here you go. It has difficulty options.
Thank you, Tetsuya Nomura.
It's like the one good thing he's ever done. Actually, you know what? That's a lie. That's a lie. He designed some really hot characters over the years. Like one of my first loves was Squall.
That was when you were like, man, I love belts.
No, I didn't love the belt. His belts weren't excessive.
Yet.
It was like Lulu when things got really excessive. You're like, oh, girl, you got too much of that going on. And I mean, apparently his is similar to. Anyway, it's similar to a blade holster type thing, but that's beside the point. Squall. He's good.
Squall is not here. Instead, we have Jack.
Jack,
who wants to destroy chaos.
Jack is consumed by chaos.
This is also a Final Fantasy isekai
It is, yes.
because our protagonists are
Our
from
buddy
another
Jack.
world.
Yeah, so like everybody was joking when the trailer first came out, like, oh man, look at this H&M employee in Final Fantasy 1, or like, oh man, Jack's gonna be working at Home Depot after a shift here. Like, he really does just look like a regular dude, and like he's got his two bros that we have no idea anything about them.
No,
Literally
they're
nothing
just
about them.
dudes.
I think their names are one's named Jed.
Yes.
I don't remember who is Jed.
I don't remember which one's which.
What's the other one's name?
Ash.
Ash and Jed and Jack.
Yep. Final
Um,
Fantasy.
all have the last name Final Fantasy. They're all related.
Also, I mean, they are names you could fit into the character name slot in Final Fantasy 1,
Correct.
which I hope they keep that motif.
I hope so too. Because that's a pretty good nod. Um, Jed, Ash, Jack. Yes. So we started the demo looking like regular dudes.
And then pretty
And
soon after, you're just like you're getting item drops left and right, so you just look like a fantasy dude.
yeah, it was very quickly that I stopped looking like I was gonna go to a shift at H&M. It was very quickly. And the thing that was interesting to me is that like I wonder if there's going to be a version of like the job classes for the other guys that you can help with, because like they were definitely also changing outfits throughout. They did not stay in the same outfit the whole time.
Yeah, they don't really like let you look at them or
Nope.
like interact with them in a way that like to like let me outfit them with this equipment and all that sort of stuff. Like they're all just like left to the wayside as you just focus on Jack. So I would assume that probably would be the something that would happen in
Yeah.
the actual game, considering this is still a very early demo.
Yeah. I would assume so. Just because like I said, they definitely did not start in the they did not end in the outfits we started in.
Yeah.
Much like we did not. And yeah, I definitely looked like a regular Final Fantasy. Well, not really a Final Fantasy guy. I looked like a fantasy guy by the end of it. In all of my class outfits. Like nothing about me was normal anymore by the time we were done.
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, Jack was ready to wreck some chaos and some imps and some weird corruption wall things.
And bunch of bombs.
Oh, right. There were a lot of bombs. Once I figure out that I could do wateraga, I always pronounce that wrong. I was like, blit, 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 have water. It was great. It was really great.
Yeah, so the demo basically gives you 3 jobs you can
Yes.
roll around as, which is like just a generic sword dude, a mage, and a lancer, which do upgrade into like warrior, black mage, and dragoon.
Mm-hmm.
Which basically just unlocks you a different skill tree,
Skill tree.
so you can kind of level it up even further and do it that way. I'm curious to see like what other jobs they're going to throw into this, because I'm assuming like that's not just going to be the 3 jobs in this game. It's probably going to be a lot more.
I want to
throughout.
turn Jack into a white mage.
Probably possible.
I want to do it. Jack Final Fantasy is going to be a healer. Chaos healer.
Jack Final Fantasy Geopanzer.
He also has the ability to like return attack type thing. Which I never really figured that out
Mhm.
because I'm not good at this game. But like when the imps are throwing stones at you and all, you can like reflect that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But yes, I only played as the like
Sword and mage.
sword and mage classes.
Which is kind of all you really need.
Yeah, I mean, for something like this, it was fine. Like, it definitely got me through.
Mm-hmm. It's also interesting because like there is a colored loot you can get from enemies
Yes.
and stuff,
Yes.
which all have different stats and stuff. Like some of them also just will be better for your specific job.
Yes.
But I was very interested the fact that like it had like rarity and loot, which I think that's a thing in Neo as well. So it's not something like super new for this team,
Mm-hmm.
but it was interesting to see that and just see how.
Like the color codedness of it.
Yeah. So yeah, basically through this demo, you fight your way through a bunch of stuff, and you find your way to a castle, and then you get to fight Chaos.
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 Oh, I also made Jack pantsless at one point accidentally. I felt really bad about it.
He wanted to show off his gams.
He was just like, "Look at my boxer briefs, y'all." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, buddy. Where are your pants?" It was quickly figured out. I did not let him go without pants for very long, but I I, I was a little alarmed when he had no pants on.
Mm-hmm.
Jared helped me.
It's true. That's what I'm here for.
Jared's like, "Oh no, we gotta put Jack some pants on." Can you imagine this pantsless man like chaos?
Absolutely. I'm excited for when this game comes out and we get to see like naked speed runs.
Making Jack runs.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah. We get chaos question mark?
Chaos?
Chaos?
Who's to say?
There's a nice Princess Sarah reference, which was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the first time that we really got any kind of like
Final
real
Fantasy.
Final Fantasy and also real interaction with the boys.
Yeah.
Like they said a few things besides like the random quips they had to say throughout the castle area.
Right.
I was like, oh hey, yeah, you guys exist. But yeah, this was the Final Fantasy. One thing that both of us noted though is it is a very dark game.
Yes, but also like I said when we were playing it, I'm guessing that's because like it has like HDR and stuff like that on because it is a PS5 demo.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have much darker darks and like all that sort of stuff when it comes to like the lighting and everything. So
Yeah, I mean like I have a PS5 and I have a 4K TV, but even so, I was like, I need to brighten this shit up.
yeah.
Now I can see things.
Yay.
My vision is terrible as it is. I can't see anything. Like, if I take my glasses off, I literally am just hopeless. I have to shower with my glasses on because I cannot see. And so like they're trying to make me strain my eyes with this dark castle. Like, no, get out of here. I'm gonna brighten that up. And I did.
You did.
And it was great.
The demo ends as you defeat Chaos.
Chaos.
And then literally like you beat him and then it's like, thank you for playing.
And then they give you a survey.
They do. Which I will say, like, this team, they did this with Neo before. When the first Neo came out, they did like a little demo type thing like they did here. And at the end of that demo, they did a survey and they took into account what players said about this game, like what do they want to change, what they wanted adjusted. And once Neo came out proper, like a lot of those changes and adjustments were in the actual game.
I forgot what suggestions I made.
I think we just wanted more chaos.
That was one of the things that I put. Needs more chaos, but I gave them some actual suggestions. Oh, an indicator of when I actually saved
Yeah.
was one of the things that I wanted because like we had to quit for the night about halfway through the level at a campsite, and then like it made me start at the very beginning of the level again when I booted it back up, which is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was overpowered by that point, so it was fine. But like I still had to work my way through half of the castle to get back to where I was.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, save like indicators would be real nice. Or like just the ability to save in general, like a hard save. Would really like that.
Yeah.
And like maybe that's because it's a demo and they didn't expect people to want to save in a demo, but
yeah, that's entirely possible. But also this thing has New Game Plus.
the demo does.
The demo does. So
More chaos.
more chaos.
I think those were like, I might have had another suggestion, but that was the big one. I was like, oh, I want to know when I saved. That'd
Right,
be
right,
cool.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on this game.
It seemed all right.
It seemed fine.
Like it seemed far better than I was anticipating.
And again, like the dialogue's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I will take that.
Again, people like to get all uppity because of the way the direction of this game is getting, but like Final Fantasy 1 sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible. It has
Like
not aged well at all.
I will take a very dumb rendition of Final Fantasy 1 any day of the week.
Yep, same.
So,
Especially if it makes me laugh with how much they talk about chaos.
exactly. Chaos.
Chaos.
We're here to kill chaos. Chaos.
Like Chaos kicked his puppy or something before he got warped into the Final Fantasy world.
The last thing he saw before he left was just the word chaos.
He's like, this is Chaos's fault. Now I'm here. I wonder if he knew Ash and Jed before this, or if
Well, they
they're
all
just,
got pulled to this world apparently, so it would
I
make
just wonder if
sense.
they were like friends beforehand, or if they're just like a ragtag group of friends that are now Chaos hunters together. I will never get over that Craigslist ad about this.
It's pretty good.
Paul Walker, maybe?
Uh,
It's a very good, very, very good meme. So yeah, besides the fact that this game is meme worthy, like it's a pretty passable video game so far.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a demo, but like I played it. I had a pretty good time. I didn't die any, and I didn't have to suffer a whole lot because of dumb difficulty stuff.
Yeah.
I just set a bunch of wolves on fire and became a pyromaniac,
Woo.
as I do in video games.
Woo.
Yay!
So that is Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, the demo. Which I don't, I think by the time you will be hearing this, that demo will be expired.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think it was supposed to run till the 24th, but then they extended it, I think, 2 more days because of the issues. So I think by the time this podcast comes out, the demo will be dead.
Well,
Or
you'll
have one
know
more day.
our hot takes on it.
That's true. But finally, we have to stay in the Final
Finally.
Fantasy universe. Yes, you're not wrong. And discuss Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission.
Mm-hmm.
The Yuffie DLC, which came out alongside Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, the
Yes.
PlayStation 5 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which came out on the 10th of June this year.
Yeah, so now I have the PS5 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I have the Yuffie DLC. And I mean, even from the beginning, when you boot this up, like it's really nice because you have like the 7 main title screen where it's got Cloud's Buster Sword on the ground, like how it used to be.
Yeah.
And then you go to the side to go to the Yuffie DLC, and it's got her like what is that weapon called? Yuffie's weapon is in the ground like Cloud's sword is. So
Exactly.
It was a clever use. What is her weapon called? Why am I blanking on that?
Big spinny thing.
Big spinny thing.
Boomerang.
It's not a boomerang. What is that weapon called? Gosh darn it. I don't remember. It's got a specific name.
You have a specific name.
I do actually. It's Anladium.
Wow.
Shuriken? Shuriken? Is that a word? Is that the word?
But they're big.
Big shurikens, yes. So that was cute. I like that. It was a nice touch.
Yeah. You missed a little bit, I think, with the main game, right? Which basically nothing really has changed. They just, quality of life, graphics, all that stuff that they touted in February.
I'll be real with you, I couldn't tell a difference.
The only thing I could really tell is that like the frame rate seemed really smooth.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
And I was like, that seems pretty good.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell graphic stuff because obviously we are doing share play, and I don't have a big fancy television, so I can't really see the cool HDR 4K stuff. And also, it's just being funneled down through streaming, so like that's really also not going to really help. But yeah, like the one thing I did notice is that like it did seem a lot smoother, so like that seemed pretty good.
And I mean, it's beautiful, but like Final Fantasy VII Remake was already beautiful, so.
Yeah. But the main thing we're here to talk about is intermission.
Yep.
$20.
$20.
I think that's a little bit much for this DLC.
I think 15 would have been the sweet spot.
Because like this is maybe a couple of hours if you kind of mainline it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only side content that's really in here is if you want to play everyone in Fort Condor.
I did not.
Yeah.
So I did not. So I kind of just went on the main route there.
Mm-hmm. So this takes place in the middle of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yes.
After the bombing of Mako Reactor 5, Yuffie shows up.
Yep.
And goes into Midgar because she's trying to meet up with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And that someone is Billy Bob.
Oh my god, I still can't get over the fact that there's a guy named Billy Bob in this game.
It's really good.
And then there's that regular guy.
Yeah. That's Jack Final Fantasy. His long lost relative. His great grandson.
His name is Polk.
Polk. And then there was the girl who had like the very weird outfit.
Her outfit was insane. Like, I'm pretty sure Nomura designed her because
for sure.
That is peak. She's got like a cargo skirt and her shirt has like weird nonsensical suspender things and there's just a lot happening with her outfit that I was like,
going on.
Her name is Nao.
Call her whatever you want.
That gal with a weird skirt.
So yeah, they are your local Avalanche folks because we can't put you with the actual Avalanche folks.
Nope. They're considered the splinter group. The Barrett and Tifa group is the splinter group at this point. And the Jesse and Biggs and Wedge, they're the splinter part of Avalanche. These guys are like, oh, we don't do that kind of thing.
Yeah, so Yuffie goes there to meet up with them, and then also meets up with this dude named Sonon, who is the original character for this game.
Yep.
Also, Yuffie's partner in crime.
Also worth mentioning that he is also from Wutai.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the only two that are Wutaian.
Yes.
I don't
know if that's how they say it, but sure, we'll go with it.
The two from Wutai.
Yes.
They're the only two.
But yeah, you get to go hang out in Midgar right after the Mako Reactor 5 bombing, and everyone's like a little freaked out about it. You get to see a bunch of random folks from the original game, but mostly they just kind of show up as people you can play at Fort Condor with because we can't really insert them into the story.
Nope.
Per se. So like Wedge, I think, is one of them, and also he's playing with some cats. The weird motorcycle dude shows up.
That menace.
That guy's a menace. I was like, yeah, that guy.
He's back, and I wanted to talk to him, and he's like, hey, do you want to play Fort Condor? Well, you're not good enough to play Fort Condor. And I'm like,
I don't want to play anyways.
Yeah, basically. Like, all right, I'm out. Goodbye. I wanted to talk to you some more because I still don't know what you're about, but like,
he's a menace. That's all you need to know.
Basically, yeah.
But yeah, the Midgar section is kind of just like if you want to do the mini games, you can. Also, there's like some mini side quests here and there that you can pick up along the way. Like
the bar, the turtle.
The turtle.
I forget what the turtle bar name is, but
you gotta go get like flyers for it.
Yeah, it's a bar that's a big part of Wutai and Final Fantasy VII. So it was a nice little nod, but you have to get the flyers for it, and
you get a bunch of like weird remixes of the bar theme for it.
Yeah, there was one that we're like, oh man, that reminds us of something, but I don't remember what it was. And then there was one that was like a really shitty, like new metal version.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh god, I just want this to end.
It was real good.
Oh.
No hip hop to Chocobo though, which is unfortunate.
None of that. No.
Put it back.
Sorry.
It's a real shame.
Turtle's Paradise? Is that the name?
You call it whatever you want.
Yeah. I think that's all right. Anyway, Yuffie's upset because she's like, I'm not old enough to go there yet. Sonon's like, I'll take you one day.
You're old enough to go get these flyers.
Yay! Because Yuffie would have been... She's 15 during the events of Final Fantasy 7, if I remember correctly.
I don't know, so I'm just gonna go with whatever you said.
I'm pretty sure she's 15. And
Either way.
I'm gonna say I'm 99% certain.
Well, you're 1% uncertain, so there you go.
I was wrong.
Oh, the 1% wins again.
She was 16.
The 1%ers always pull out in the end.
It's true. Dang it. So yeah, Sanan is gonna help Yuffie in her cool Moogle hood.
Yeah, she doesn't get to wear a cool Moogle hood.
I want that hood.
You really
if somebody
don't
ever sees those like on sale, hit me up. I want them.
probably will. You really don't get to see many people from the main game. Tifa and Barrett show up at one point.
And they're like, "Where's Cloud?"
And Cloud is not with them because he's off gallivanting with Aerith.
I mean, he's making
Doing
the right
cool
decision
stuff,
there.
yeah. So you get to see the other side of that part of the game, which is interesting. Yep. But like outside of that, there really isn't a whole lot of like, oh, here's the other characters. Like this is mostly just here's Yuffie and here's her little story before she will eventually peter into the actual game.
Jessie did yell at me at one point, which was kind of upsetting.
Because she didn't want you to play For Condor.
No, I went up to her and was talking to her, and I was like, "Oh, did you get stood up for a date?" And she's like, "Get out!
Get out of here!"
Which I mean, I guess, I guess the whole thing did just go wrong with the Mako reactor, so she's a little
upset.
A little upset, and then I'm just like, "Oh man, your date, huh?" And we did get to go by Cloud's apartment, and his landlady was talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned he has a real door now.
Yeah, they fixed the door.
I didn't even realize the door had.
So it's not a bad texture, and now it actually looks like a door.
I did not even notice that.
So there you go. So eventually you leave Midgar because you're gonna go break into Shinra and get some materia.
Well, that's still Midgar. You're just going to Shinra Tower.
Well, I mean, the little town.
Yeah, you leave the 7th. Why am I blanking on all the terms today?
7th Heaven is the bar.
No. It's the
7th sector.
Yes, thank you.
So you leave there eventually, and you go to Shinra.
Yes.
Same difference.
You end up chasing the Shije guy at one point. The informant.
Yeah, because he distracts a bunch of guards, and you eventually have to go after him. Beat up some guards along the way as well, and then eventually you make your way in.
Making our way downtown.
And then you end up on an elevator with the one girl, Scarlet. And she's like, "Oh, Wu Tai is terrible, right? I hate him. I love being racist. Darn, isn't that racist. Right?" And Yuffie's like, "Oh,
yeah."
And then you get off the elevator. She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna trap you here because I'm not stupid."
Yeah.
So you have
I know what you guys are doing.
You fight your way through a bunch of Shinra and everything, beating up enemies here and there along the way.
I think it's probably somewhat important to mention at this point that we've gotten flashes of like parts of Sanon's backstory of like how he was there when his sister ended up like being in the middle of a battle and died.
Mm-hmm. Which is caused by Shinra.
It is caused by Shinra. He Kabadons Yuffie a lot. It's not an actual Kabadon, but it looks like one.
Yeah.
He does it a lot, like at least 2 times. One time it's like a double one. It's pretty cool. Anyway. Also, it's Alex Lee, and like he could just read a menu to me and I'd be happy. Anyway, continue.
So yeah, you fight your way through a bunch of Shinra dudes and everything. Scarlet shows up on a big hologram and spooks Yuffie. Because they were like, man, we need more big ladies. Big ladies are in right now. Let's go.
And the whole time, Yuffie's like, I'm going to get all these tiny little materia that are laying around.
Yep.
Materia.
Beat up some mechs and everything.
Yeah.
And then some dudes from the underground are like, hey, let's go fight them. So this one dude named Nero shows up, and he's a freak. He's a freak.
Yeah, he is.
He basically murders a bunch of Shinra guards, and then he's like, I'm going to fight you guys now.
They get trapped initially in the
combat simulator.
Yeah, in the combat simulator, which it was great because I had to fight something, and like Ramu showed up and was like, oh, hey, I'm going to help you guys. Woo! It's like, thanks, Ramu. You're a real one. And then, yeah, we got accosted by a freak who had taken all the souls of the guys outside.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he's voiced by Sean Chiplock.
Yep.
Which I did mention to you, Sean had a good thing here in that he didn't have to match lip flaps at all.
Yeah, because the character's mouth is covered, so don't gotta
What a
bother with
role.
that.
What a role!
That's the ultimate role for any voice actor.
Right? Yeah, this guy's a freak.
He's a freak. You fight him, and then you think you beat him, but oh no, you don't.
Nope.
So he's coming back to attack, and Sonon jumps in front of you to save you.
Yep.
Sacrifices himself because of course this guy's going to die if he's not in the actual game.
He's not in the actual game, so we knew he was gonna die, and especially like with all the oh man, my sister died, and
I couldn't protect her, so now I'm going to protect you.
And like Yuffie says multiple times, like, I'm not your sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then like Sonon earlier in the whole thing saying like, oh yeah, I'll take you to the bar when you're older. I'm like, you're not gonna make it, buddy. You're not. That's your first death fly. You're already throwing him up, and this is super early. But yeah, I was sad that he died, but I knew he was going to die. He gets a little bloody everywhere.
And then Nero just like takes his body, so I'm assuming at some point later in the game he'll be like reanimated or something, and you'll have to fight him.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yuffie runs out, basically just leaves Midgar in a very emotional state, and is just upset. And she's like, "Well, if I have to take on Shinra, I need more people with me."
Oh, also the plate gets dropped as soon as she goes out.
Yes.
So, like, not only did this guy that she, like, was with and was supposed to be her partner just died sacrificing himself for her, she leaves the tower and sees the plate drop, and she's just like, oh, my God.
I gotta get out of here.
Like, this is a bad day.
And then I think, like, before the post-credit scene, there's a scene where she's, like, riding a chocobo through the fields.
Yep.
And that's kind of like how, like, oh, eventually we'll run into her at some point whenever the next game comes out. There is a post-credit scene, though.
There is.
Where we return to the actual party.
Yes.
Of Cloud and the gang heading to Calm.
Yep.
Chocobo Bill rolls up and is like, hey, you want to ride?
Yep.
And we're like, yeah, cool.
The girls get to ride up front, and everybody, they didn't pay Red 13's voice actor.
No. Barrett's real mad because he has to sit in the back with Cloud.
Yep.
With the chocobos. Cloud's just like, whatever, who cares?
Yep.
But then the interesting scene, of course, is we go to the church at in Sector 5, which is Aerith's church, of course. Yep. And who is at the church but Zack?
Zack is outside trying to figure out what kind of lines he's going to use to make things better.
He's gone there to find Aerith.
Yes.
Who's obviously
Very
not there.
obviously.
He's doing all these like these lines and everything, and he opens the door and he finds the Sector 7 refugees instead, and is like,
yep.
What is going on here?
Yep.
So Zack's here.
Zack is in Midgar now. We have left Midgar now. Interesting.
Yes.
I really don't know what to make of that.
You're obviously left with more questions and answers, which of course is the intention.
Correct.
But it's an interesting way to end this little DLC as like a little tease of what's to come. Where obviously the next game we're going to be on the way to Calm and doing all that sort of stuff, and presumably we will get more about what Zach's doing and how he's here and everything, and how this is probably a alternate timeline of some sort, or a timeline skip of some sort.
I love how we just keep getting like ending scenes of Zach that are just big question marks. Like that's how we ended Remake, and now we're ending it Zach here. It's like they're just gonna keep throwing Zach in and be like, you have no idea what's going on.
I mean, to be fair, they are doing the one thing we said, or like one of the big things we said that they should do with this game, and that is make Zach important.
Yep.
Don't make him hidden little text boxes that you have to go out of your way to find. Like, no, they're like, no, he is. We are blatantly making him important.
Which is good because Zach is a very, very important character to the canon of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Also, he is one of the best boys in all of Final Fantasy. Period. He is a good boy. I really, really wonder, and I don't know what the odds are of this, but with them like focusing on Zach and bringing in other characters and things, I'm wondering, is that phone game gonna have the Crisis Core stuff in it at all?
The phone game that they're like, that's the remake.
That's the story, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the battle royale nonsense.
Let me see. So I think because they did announce, I think like, hey, we're going to put a butt ton of stuff into that game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Compilation of Final Fantasy VII.
Because I feel like at this point,
that's not it.
You really have to have Zach's story out there somehow. And it being a game stuck on the PSP isn't going to really do it.
No, you're right. What was that thing called?
Ugh. That's not the name of it. Good question.
Thank you.
I'm Googling. Ever Crisis?
That sounds right. Yeah. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Aha, here's a Wikipedia page for it. Okay, so planned to be released in monthly episodic installments, the game retells events from the 1997 game Final Fantasy VII and all canon titles in the compilation of Final Fantasy VII media franchise, the movie Advent Children, the video games Before Crisis, Crisis Core, and Dirge of Cerberus.
Okay. Oh God, why Dirge?
So I thought that was the case, that they had said like, hey, we're putting basically everything into this mobile remake.
Okay, that's a good idea, because if by some chance, and I mean, like at this point, I don't think anybody who's like really into Final Fantasy VII would have missed the fact that Zach existed.
No.
But like they might have missed Crisis Core. That is completely possible because not everybody had a PSP.
Well, they wouldn't have played, like, they wouldn't have played Before Crisis because that never came out over here.
That never came out over here.
And then they might not have played Dirge either.
I mean, there's no real loss there.
So, like, there's definitely people who have just probably interacted with Final Fantasy VII and then Advent Children. That's it.
Yeah.
Hello, me.
Crisis Core is one of the best Final Fantasy stories that they've ever told. And I can say that with confidence. Like the way that everybody is written in that game is incredible, and the backstory that they're able to give to Zach, and like the fact that you know what's coming, you know that it's inevitable how this game ends, but you still are just like, I'm gonna get there anyway. And it still hits you in this like really, really emotional way at the end. It's like, oh man, like it's so well done. It's so well done. And I mean, that's not going to translate well to the phone, I'm sure, but Like the battle system won't translate.
I mean, I don't know if you really needed to.
I mean,
But also, we don't know how this is going to play.
yeah,
All we've seen is like the Final Fantasy VII stuff.
right.
And if this is supposed to
Um,
be monthly episodic, like that, the Crisis Core stuff's going to come like 2023 at the earliest.
yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, so I mean like Crisis Core like the gameplay is done like with this like slot machine combat system. Which that sounds really odd, but like think about how in Final Fantasy VII, the original one, like Tifa had the reels that you would go da 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 and get like whatever move.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Well, it worked really well in Crisis Core. And like the significant part of that, spoiler alert ish, um, is that you're doing the final battle in Crisis Core and you're doing fine ish. Um, and then that system starts failing. And so that's how you end up losing the battle is your entire battle system starts failing. It's really, really well done because you literally cannot win it.
I mean, I don't think that like you can't do that on a phone.
Depends on how they do the battle.
Right, but there's no saying that like they can't recreate that system on a phone.
Sure,
So
sure. I mean, phones are probably more powerful now than the PSP was when it came out.
twice as powerful.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just hope that they do something like that's super cool like that because that was really, really impactful to me, like how they did it. And Zack is a very, very, very good character. Also, you get some backstory on like Sephiroth. Wow, amazing. Who's that guy?
Never heard of him.
Nah, he's some loser. Um, I don't know why they put the Dirge characters in the intermission,
I,
other than just like hey references.
I mean, it's because they're throwing everything from Final Fantasy VII into remake.
I know
That's why.
it's just a mistake because Dirge was a mistake. I mean, I'm glad because Sean Chiplock got work, but ugh. And I just it was really really funny when Nero showed up. He was like, "Who is this guy? What is going on? He's got like metal wings." It's great. It's really entertaining. I think we both just kept calling him a pervert.
As you do.
Mm-hmm. So you think Sana's gonna be like reincarnated at some point or reanimated and be a villain?
They wouldn't show them taking the body for no reason, I think.
Yeah, I think
And that
you're
would
right.
make it it gives you automatically here's an emotional fight for you to have.
If you've played the intermission.
Yeah.
That's another thing is I don't see why this had to be PS5 exclusive.
No, like there's nothing in here that really like makes it a thing that could not be ran on a PS4 or
You
other
know what?
consoles when this game comes to other consoles.
You know why it couldn't go on the PS4?
Why is that?
PS4 could not handle Billy Bob.
PS4 cannot handle graphics.
No, it couldn't handle Billy Bob.
It's true, Billy
Billy
Bob.
Bob was too much to handle.
A real menace.
I just love the fact that they put a man in here named Billy Bob.
It's really good.
Billy Bob. And he looks like he's in like a freaking like hair metal band. He's ridiculous.
It's very
Billy
good.
Bob's like my new favorite character besides Sonon.
Billy Bob and Jack Final Fantasy.
Jack Final Fantasy. When he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Because this guy's a little bit younger. And he really is into Fort Condor, not Chaos yet. I played Fort Condor once when it was required and then never again.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool that they give you something if you want to engage with it, but like,
Yeah. I mean, like, I played Fort Condor enough in the OG to, like, get the goodies, but,
Yeah.
like, it's not something I was really into. And I, like, used exploits that I knew of to, like, win battles very quickly. But,
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a nice reference. It's like, oh, look, Fort Condor. That's funny, right? It's a board game now. Ha. which like canonically is kind of messed up because that's like a town ish that is suffering because of Shinra trying to invade constantly and trying to take their big egg that is important to them. So like kind of weird to be like, let's gamify that. Let's gamify this oppression of Shinra doing on this town and these people. But whatever. Anyway, I don't think it should have been a PS5 exclusive.
Nope.
But you were able to experience it because I was able to share play.
Yes.
It was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
It was very short, but it was fun, and I enjoyed my time with it. Should have been $15, and it should have been on the PS4 too.
Yeah.
That's basically my take on it.
Agreed.
Sanan, when he was alive, could cap it on me if he wanted to.
Well, too bad he's dead.
He's deader than hell.
And he's going to come back as a real mean dude and murder you.
Rip me.
Ripperoni and pepperoni.
For real.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode then.
Mm-hmm.
We did all the Final Fantasies and we tangoed.
Chaos.
Chaos?
Chaos?
Chaos. If you would like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you would like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can buy our books, One Shining Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast and bonus episodes as well.
Woo!
Next week, we're going to dive into the final chapter of the Kazuma Kiryu saga.
Da-da-da!
As Al will experience Yakuza 6.
Yay!
Experience. So we'll do that next week. Yep.
Be Takeshi.